Well, good morning everyone. It's a beautiful day here in Washington State, and I decided to take the Kawasaki Ninja 1000 SX out for a tour of the North Cascade Highway. And I reviewed this bike a few months ago, and I liked it so much that I decided to add it to the stable. And the reason I added it to the stable, a lot of reasons. A, because I'm an old guy and I really love traditional sport touring motorcycles. You know, as much as I also love pretty much every type of motorcycle, I kind of got bored with the whole ADV thing. And I tried everything from the multi-strada that I had many generations of for the last 15 years, right through to GS's, even the Pikes Peak multi-strada, and I just got to a point that I just really prefer the connection you have with a sport touring bike. There's just something about a fully fed sport touring motorcycle, and this Ninja is just so comfortable and it's just so nice to ride. It's just buttery smooth, that as an old guy I kind of appreciate that stuff. Don't get me wrong, I still love a raw Ducati twin, but for this touring, I just found that there's just something about a sport touring motorcycle that can't be beat. So anyway, enough of that. Why am I going to the North Cascade Highway? Well, the North Cascade Highway is, in total it's about 450 miles. I'm going to do probably about 300 of them today because I'm not starting at the very beginning. It is one of the, honestly I think one of the nicest roads to ride in North America, and I've ridden a lot of roads in North America. I've ridden across the country twice. In many ways it's kind of like the Alps of the Pacific Northwest. We have a lot of great mountains here, a lot of great mountain ranges. The tallest mountain in North America, Mount Rainier, is actually ends in Washington State. We're not going in that direction, no, that's south. The North Cascade Highway has a couple of different peaks. Starts in the sort of lush rainforests of Washington State, which is kind of where we are now as we head towards the Cascades. So yeah, so we're headed towards those mountains, if you can see them ahead of me, and we're going to climb over those mountains on this beautiful Washington State day. And it doesn't rain all the time here, and when it doesn't rain it is fucking awesome. And this proven Ninja 1000 engine. The thing about a you know, when you're riding an inline four like this is, especially if you're coming from a more torquey twin, is obviously they're more revvy, but they also work through the gears much faster, so it's sometimes really easy to find yourself way too low on the gears and the dash flashing at you. So here we are at a place called Lake Diablo, and it's a pretty amazing place, pretty stunning place. So there's actually a fire in the neighborhood. It's about
few miles up the road, so we'll be going through that soon. Firefighters working hard. We get a lot of fires at this time of year. How blue is that water? It's glacier water.
So it was nice seeing Lake Diablo, huh? And now we are headed over the mountains. There's actually a wildfire somewhere around here, so the sky's not so clear. Feel bad for those firefighters out there fighting in this heat. Probably some idiot city slicker dropping something that they shouldn't have dropped and starting a fire, who knows.
Well, that was nice of those folks to wave and give me the international signal of police ahead, which apparently that is the signal. And I have noticed that around the world these signals are pretty much the same no matter where I ride, although there are a few oddities here in the US, particularly when it comes to folks on Harleys. But thanks, mate, whoever you are, and for those of you who are curious, here's a few others. You can probably see why they call the North Cascade Highway sort of the Rockies of the Pacific Northwest. This is just a small glimpse of the riding you can do here, and despite all the smoke in the air from the wildfires, it's obvious what a great road it is, and if you can catch it on a good day, there's really nothing like it. It's I think one of the greatest roads to ride on the west coast of the US, so I encourage you all to get out here and enjoy it. Just look at it. Okay, so we're in a place called Winthrop, which is kind of like a western town over on the east side of the Cascades. This is where it really starts to get hot. It's about 95 degrees and way more barren, as you can probably see from some of the on-bike footage. This place is pretty crazy at this time of year. Let's take a look around. Wait a minute, are we in Sturgis or are we in Winthrop? For a minute then I thought we were in Sturgis.
Oh, it's time to say goodbye to Winthrop. Interesting little town. Man, busy little town. Kind of feels like Disneyland in the middle of the eastern Washington lower plains, out of the wonderful rainforest and into the searing heat of eastern Washington. Ugh. So we're going to head through some of this heat back over to the south side of the state, southeast side of the state, heading towards a place called Wenatchee, and then over the Blewett Pass, which is another little wonderful pass, and into a place called Cle Elum, where I have a cabin, and I'll be spending the night in the cabin. I thought about going back to Seattle, but I've kind of been taking my time today, so I could get back to Seattle fine. It's just about another hour and a half onto my journey, so not really sure if I feel like that or not. You know, what I might actually do is pull over, get some audio on my speakers for the maps, because sometimes looking at an iPhone in the sun isn't so good. This is kind of why I tend to prefer a dedicated GPS like the Garmin. You can see the eastern desert up there. It's pretty barren. You see I have the SW Motec bags. These things are great. Highly recommend them. Really easy to get on and off. This ring is a magnet ring. Goes on this magnetic ring here above the tank. So yeah, this probably just clips on like that. No problem. They come in all sorts of different sizes. They all use the same connections, so it's really easy to swap them around. This is the smaller one, because the Ninja has pretty decent bags. You can see them here. Pretty good. It's a beautiful looking bike. I have been adjusting the suspension along the way. It's really easy to do. Just trying to dial it in before I hand it over to the suspension whisperer, Mr. Dave Moss. Probably do a little remote tune, or allegedly he told me he's going to be in town in a couple of weeks, so maybe I'll go see him. Alright, let's get moving. Oh, there's the Harley Bros on there. Oh yeah, there you go. No gloves, no proper helmet, shorts, t-shirt. Filling the stereotype really well. Let's get out of here. I never quite know whether I should wave to trikes, because technically they're not a motorcycle, but I do understand that for some people who have injuries and whatever, it's the closest feeling they'll get to riding a motorcycle if they can't ride motorcycles anymore, so much respect. Although if it were me and I couldn't ride, I'd probably just get a convertible. One of the things for me is on the track, obviously I'm running rear sets, and so I'm always riding on the balls of my feet, and it's a habit that has transferred to the street, even though you really don't need to do that unless you're in the twisties. You know, like this bike is now, if I was doing an overnight trip, I would normally stay at Lake Chelan, which is about 10 miles from here, but I'm not going to do that today. In fact, I'm not actually going to go through Lake Chelan, but Maybe I'll put some photos up here somewhere. It's pretty nice. It's kind of a girls gone wild kind of place though at this time of year. The older I get, the grumpier I get, the less I want to be around people. And the suspension is feeling a lot better because I've made a few adjustments on the fly, which is kind of easy to do on this bike. It's one of the things I appreciate about a manual suspension is, yeah, I just get my screwdriver out, a few clicks to the right or left, whatever it is, these little bits right here, and then there's a little preload at the back. This is a nice twisty little road. A lot of people don't realize that we have roads like this, or terrain like this in Washington State. They imagine it just being a sort of a wet place, but it does get hot here. Oh yeah, this bike is like really finding itself now that I've adjusted that suspension. It's so much better. Feels like a proper sport tour. Always takes a while to get to know a new bike, but I think this one and I are going to have a pretty long relationship. I can feel it already. Well, until my knees start giving in which case I'll probably have to buy like a BMW RT or something. I do like the BMW RS as well, which kind of goes up against this, even though it's a twin. It's a great bike. I think this is better in terms of all that performance though. And it's about 30% cheaper, which we like. One thing that I do think ADV bikes are really helpful for, even if you never ever go off-road, like enduro style, is other than going to Starbucks, which you see a lot of them at Starbucks, when you're on a road like this, and you do see an interesting little road that you want to follow, it's way easier to even contemplate when you're on an ADV bike, like the new GS or even the Multistrada. Whereas on this baby, yeah, you're not going to want to be going up any of those rocky roads or gravel roads. So that is kind of one of those things that often, even on this trip, I've seen a road and I'm like, hey, what's down there? But yeah, not going to go check it out. Okay, so now we are sort of out of the desert and back into some greenness, and we're about to head towards Blewett Pass, which is a pass of mountain pass that links Wenatchee in eastern Washington on the other side of the desert we just came from, over to the southeast side of Washington State, a place called Cleellen, which is where I'll be spending the evening. It's been as hot as balls today. Holy shit, it wasn't supposed to be this hot. The weather person is always wrong. Yeah, it's still like 95 degrees and it's 20 past 4. So it's hot as balls, so I think I'm going to stop at some point soon and get some hydration, if I can find a place to spot. I'm trying to remember if there's a place you can stop on this road, but it's a great road, so I hope you enjoy it. So really giving her a good old wind up. Oh yeah, better slow down. That was fun. Oi. You know, sometimes I really want to stop for a drink, but then I think, fuck, I just passed all those slow cars, and if I stop for a drink, then I'll fucking be back behind them again. It's like a waste of time. So the fastest way to getting dehydrated is because you just don't want to stop, because you're having too much fun. Whoa! Fucking hell. Fucking. There's always one pillock. Oh yes, you get to the top of the pass and now it's downhill. I think at the bottom is probably where I'm going to get a drink. We are getting closer to the time when the deer decide they want to come out, so we best that I take it a little bit easy. But I'm through that traffic and I've just got the whole highway to myself, which is not too shabby. So far the Kawasaki's been pretty comfortable. The old knees are starting to remind me that I'm on a motorcycle though. I've been riding all day and I'm 6 foot, 52 years old bastard, and oh, there's a dead deer on the side of the road. So the knees are starting to give me a bit of trouble. Also I'm wearing new gloves, which probably wasn't a good idea, but they needed to be broken in, and I like breaking in gloves when it's really hot, because the leather gets nice and soft and stretches a little bit, which these need to do. These are actually my track gloves. It's a Dionysi iron something. Well, good morning everyone. Now it's time to head back to Seattle, and a lot of the ride back to Seattle was pretty uneventful because we'll be taking I-90 west back to Seattle. Now the alternative route is just to continue around the loop through Stevens Pass and then down into places like Salton in the lowlands, but because I didn't have as much time on my hands because I have a day job, I didn't do that. So what you've seen is about almost 3/4 of the Cascade Loop. Yesterday we did 352 miles in total, and you know, I think the bike did really well. I will say that at 52 years of age and in moderate level of fitness, I could be fitter, I was definitely feeling it last night for sure. Like, and part of it was, you know, we were riding in like 90-degree plus weather. I think I drank plenty of water, probably could have drunk more. But I definitely find that 300 miles is probably the sweet spot for day trips on this bike. For me anyway, anything more than that's going to start hurting a little bit. But the other thing is, you know, I'm track fit, which means, you know, you go to track days, you'll do say 5 or 6 track sessions of 25 minutes per session. You'll do them per 5 or 6 sessions per day, and in between each session you get to get off the bike, hydrate, relax, and then you get back on the bike again. You know, and with sport touring you don't get to do that. But I think it definitely is worth considering if you're going to be doing a lot of touring, like, you know, weeks, months at a time. I probably wouldn't do it on this, but for, you know, a tour of a week or so, interstate, across country, no problem at all. Long day ride's fine. And, you know, I've owned multi-straders and I've owned mid-size ADVs like the Tail Rag. In fact, I've owned a lot of sort of long distance touring bikes, you know, although the Tail Rag isn't that, multi-strada is. And I gotta say, I feel like I'm getting to the age where I need to think about a geezer glide. No, not a road glide. A geezer glide. So, you know, maybe an RT or the old faithful GS, which the thing about the GS is that, well, some of the performance ADVs claim to be really great at performance, just monstrous, and okay at all the other stuff. But GS doesn't claim to be great at anything. It's just pretty good at most of the things you need to do. Not the most powerful bike in the world. Definitely one of the most comfortable. Doesn't blow your socks off in terms of performance, etc. But that's why it's so great, is it's good at most of the things you need it to be good at, and arguably not great at anything. And sounds like a bit of an oxymoron, but I think that's actually the case. So yeah, we're headed towards I-90. You can tell we've come out of the desert and we're into the more lush green forest of the lowlands of the North Cascades. At the end of the day yesterday we went over Bliss Pass, which is a fantastic ride. I was a little bit too tired to really go hard. I just took it pretty easy, but I was probably doing 90 miles an hour most of the way through there in a 70 mile or 60 mile per hour zone. But I felt fine with it. So look, there's so much to ride here in the Pacific Northwest. So I'm going to stop recording for a while. I don't think you guys are going to see me on the freeway, and we'll check in a bit again later, okay? So, Lake Washington is on my left, and you can normally see the Olympic Mountains ahead of me, but today we can't see them because it's too cloudy. And there's these new barriers up now, so these, you know, pesky cyclists can be safe, so can't see the water as well. Well, I can, but I'm not sure the camera can. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, just a quick, I don't know, 450 miles over 2 days. So, well, I mean, I didn't ride much today because I was working, but I needed to get home to see family. So yesterday was a 352 miler. Today's just a nice, gentle little 100-mile ride back into Seattle.
Well, as they say, folks, that's all. We're done. Hope you enjoyed the little trip around the North Cascade Highway. I'm happy to be home, back with the family. I don't do a huge amount of bike reviews or just general rides. I tend to do a lot of interviews and things, but if you think this content is useful, or maybe you have suggestions on other things you'd like to see, give me a shout, make some comments below. I do appreciate it. This is not my day job. I just enjoy making these videos, and it turns out they've been pretty popular. So, you know, if you do like it, I've got to do the old like and subscribe thing. So do like, subscribe, and all that stuff. And yeah, open to feedback. Let me know what you think, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Cheers.